What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Tim Sports Talk, and it is that time of year again. It is time to go ahead and get ready for the 2022 NFL Draft, and we are going to be breaking down a ton of prospects on this channel, so if you like those kind of things, please subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. And today we have a lot of interesting people have listed this guy at the number one spot on their board, or at least they did at some point throughout the year. Kenny Pickett out of Pittsburgh. Now let's take a look at Mr. Pickett. All right, so Kenny Pickett is a 6'3", 220-pound quarterback. He had 4,300 yards, 42 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions on the year. A really great year for Pittsburgh. They ended up winning the ACC championship with him at the helm, and he had an overall really good season. A little bit more on Kenny Pickett. Solid arm, but not great. Okay, so he can make all the throws that you need, but he's not going to wow you with his arm strength. He's not going to be Pat Mahomes in the Super Bowl, diving back a few, like 15 yards, throwing off his back foot 50 yards downfield to Tyreek Hill. That is not his kind of a game. He's going to try to pick you apart with his solid accuracy and really intelligent QB play. This guy has tremendous ability to use his eyes and use his head to try to move safeties and try to make things happen. There was one play in particular that I really liked where a screaming linebacker was coming in and he didn't look at him at all. He just kept his eyes downfield, saw him in his peripheral, and then at the last second, pump faked, got the guy to come in, and then dipped around the other side. I really like his ability to go through the progressions, use his head, use his mind to fool the defense, I should say. Yeah, don't want to fool the wide receivers. But that also leads to the next point. He has really good mobility, right? It's not Lamar Jackson or Kyler Murray, nothing like that. But he has plenty of escapability in the pocket. He can also run for a first down if you need him to. So I really like that about him. And again, smart runner as well. Using those eyes, using the pump fakes, getting the defense, keeping the defense off balance. There's many times where he gets out of the pocket, keeps his eyes up, right? That's another big part of him. He keeps those eyes up. Even when the pocket's breaking down, he keeps his eyes downfield looking for a wide receiver open. But he will escape the pocket, and then he will put his eyes down strategically to get those linebackers to come up, and then right before he gets to the line of scrimmage, he'll pull up, set up, boom, wide open tight end as the linebackers get too close to the quarterback. Or he'll do it the other way, pumping, keep those eyes up, pump, 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 and then find a way to run. Everybody's seen this highlight by now, if you know who Kenny Pickett is, of him doing the fake slide for a 58-yard touchdown run. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and pause this video now. Go watch. It's like a minute long. It's a great highlight. And you could totally see this guy has plenty of wheels for the next level. He just had the Senior Bowl this past weekend, so all the quarterbacks, pretty much all of them except for Matt Corral, were in this game, and he looked solid in this game. Not bad, but not great either. He went 6 for 6, which is awesome, 89 yards and a touchdown, so the stat line says he did a great job, but when you watch, he did take a sack. One of those throws was on a 3rd and 13 where he did a quick 6-7 yard hitch, didn't get much for it, and then also there was a nice deep throw. Well, it was a nice play, but he ended up underthrowing the receiver quite a bit. The receiver had to dive for it and then got up to run for extra yards. But the touchdown throw was really nice. The touchdown throw was he read the defense, saw the blitz coming, saw there was nobody in the flat, immediately turned to his check down, hit him in stride, gave his running back a chance for extra, and he ended up getting a touchdown about 20 yards out. So really great job on that particular play. Overall, I like Kenny Pickett, but there is some things I don't like, and here are some things I don't like about Kenny Pickett. Sometimes he fades in the pocket when he's doing his drop back. He'll end up like 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and it seems like he likes to keep everything in front of him. He wants to know where everybody is at all times, which makes sense, but you got to trust your offensive line and step up into the pocket, because if you fade too far back, that's when you have a little bit farther of a throw that gives the DBs a little bit of extra time to get there to maybe get a tipped pass or an interception. So he's got to continue to work. It's not like he's allergic of stepping into the pocket. He definitely has tape where he steps into the pocket beautifully and navigates the pocket really well. But there is a tendency to start fading a little bit too much. Got to continue to stay in that pocket. Now, there's another, I mentioned it in the Senior Bowl. I've seen it on other times in tape too. When it's 3rd and long, he has a little Kirk Cousins-esque, right? Of instead of trying to wait for the play to develop and then taking a shot downfield on 3rd and long, or maybe setting up a screen or hitting his check down, it's immediately throwing it too fast to like a quick hitch route or an out route where you have no chance of getting a first down there. Now, there are times where you want to hit a short receiver quickly. That's if it's a screaming running back wide open, maybe they're sending a blitz for some reason, or whatever the case may be. There's definitely times, but it's not those kind of times. That's why I'm listing this as a negative. He doesn't really let the play to develop to have a chance of getting those 3rd and longs. The last thing that really bothers me about him is his hand size. I know it's a meme right now, but it's not so much just the hand size. Hand size is one thing, but you can tell that because of the hand size, when you watch him in weather games, the weather affects him. If you look here at his game logs, to start the year, he only had 1 interception in his first 7 games, and then in the final 5 games, he had 6 interceptions. As the weather got colder, it was rainy in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh does not have great weather. And Miami was definitely one of those. UNC was a downpour. They ended up winning in overtime. I think he did have a nice throw down the stretch, but his accuracy clearly took a hit towards the end of that game when the weather came in. Now, in Miami, he had a great drive going, but the ball got away from him on the final play, and it just sailed over his wide receiver's head. It was a post route by Addison, who's a pretty good, nice little receiver, by the way, if you haven't looked into him. He's got great routes and everything. I like him. But he was running across the field on a post route, and instead of leading him to the left side, the ball got away, and it just sailed over his head down the middle, right into the safety's hands. Pretty much game over because they were able to run the rest of the clock out. The defense would have been nice to get a stop, but unfortunately, they did not. So those are some negatives for Mr. Kenny Pickett. Now, who does he comp to in the league? What do I compare him to, or who do I compare him to? And there's a ceiling of what he could be, and then there's the most likely that he's going to be as far as if they're decent or good in the league. His ceiling compares to a guy like Joe Burrow. Now, Joe Burrow is not quite as mobile, but Joe Burrow does have the mobility. But he's 6'3.5", 220 pounds, very similar size. Not a great arm strength, plenty of arm in the league, but not wowing you again, just like Kenny Pickett. They're very smart quarterbacks. They use their eyes. They're nice, accurate quarterbacks. But the thing about Joe Burrow is he works harder than anybody. So if Kenny Pickett is going to reach that ceiling, which he could theoretically, he's going to have to work his butt off. Now, Joe Burrow was definitely a better prospect coming out of college. So I'm not pretending that Kenny Pickett is the same as Joe Burrow today. That's my ceiling for him. Where do I actually see him most likely ending up is a guy like Derek Carr. Again, 6'3", 220 pounds, only 9 1/8 inch hands, where Joe Burrow had 9-inch hands. So very similar guys. And he compares a little bit more to Derek Carr because of the 40-yard dash. I imagine this guy is going to run somewhere around a 4.7 40. Derek Carr ran a 4.65, so right in that range. Joe Burrow, another reason why I think he can be a Joe Burrow is the comparison with their college stats. This is his only good season, Kenny Pickett. If you look here at the rest of his stats, he's only thrown 13 touchdowns, 12 touchdowns, and then several interceptions. But if you look here at Joe Burrow's stats, it's very similar. Joe Burrow just killed it his senior year. Killed it. 5,600 yards, 60 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Now, he had some weapons down there in LSU. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Terrace Marshall, Thaddeus Moss, a top-tier offensive line. He had some weapons, so it's not shocking. But at the same time, when you watch that tape, you knew that he was going to be the number one guy. But look here before. 57% completion percentage the year before, 16 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Not a bad ratio, but only 16 touchdowns on the year. And then on top of that, he got benched for Dwayne Haskins. So we know what the kind of that thing is there when he's at Ohio State getting benched for the likes of Haskins. So overall, for Kenny Pickett, if he is there at pick number 11, I think Washington should pull the trigger. And I wouldn't mind if Carolina pulled the trigger. And I think his best fit is in New Orleans. Now, it does suck that Sean Payton left, but he's in a dome. He's protected from the weather. And I think that that's the best possible scenario for him. But if you get a guy of the caliber of a Derek Carr in the first round with a 5-year rookie deal, I think that's a solid pick. And if we ended up taking him at pick number 11, I am not mad about that at all. I'll obviously go through some other quarterbacks and other players there at pick number 11, but that's where I have him sitting right now. I think Kenny Pickett's going to be a solid quarterback in the league. Doesn't have a great chance of being great, but has potential if he works his butt off, just like Joe Burrow did. Joe Burrow is not a guy, as I've said again, I'll repeat myself, he's not a guy that wows you in the weight room, standing next to him, power arm. He's just a smart quarterback that gets himself footwork right, his arm strength, or his arm accuracy right, his quick release, everything he works on those things as much as possible. So that's where Kenny Pickett has got to continue to improve. So Kenny Pickett, pick number 11. You guys let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Also in the description below, there's a Discord link. Hop on our Discord and come talk some football. And last but not least, there are donation links in the description below. If you feel so kind, you could donate to the channel. We're going to have a bunch more of these. Not only quarterbacks, we'll go ahead and go into a bunch of different other positions. We'll see where that goes, but it'll be fun. And until next time, see ya!